Assalamu alaikum. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you don't mind. I'm having a sandwich and playing some Gears of War. But I wanted to just make a quick comment. I was paying attention to some of the things today going on in the Twitterverse, in which Steve King, who is a representative from the House of Representatives from Iowa, made a statement today saying that immigration needs to be restricted under the guise of we have all these people coming here that are going to undo our civilization, right? And that you can't perpetuate this wonderful civilization that's been created by white folks, which is what Stephen is saying. You can't perpetuate this wonderful, amazing civilization with other people's babies. You need to have white babies. So let's just, particularly cut off immigration from other parts of the world, particularly the brown and black parts, the Muslim parts, and let's restrict it to some sort of new Aryan kind of construct, right? So like a sort of like new eugenics, a new Third Reich. And what I see going on, some of the reaction to his comments, is that Muslims were like, well, not just Muslims, but Muslims and then also non-Muslims were like, oh, this is Islamophobic. And I really hate this word. I hate this word on so many levels. Not only is it simply or merely dishonest, it's actually obfuscating, right? So the thing with a phobia, for instance, arachnophobia or acrophobia, right, like fear of spiders or fear of heights, is that the victim of the phobia, the person with the phobia, is being triggered by an external event, spiders or being up in a very high place. And in doing so, that person, it's essentially no fault of their own that they're being triggered by spiders or high places. And therefore, there's all kinds of therapy, a person could go through to try to combat or, deal with their fear of spiders or fear of high places. One of those would actually be, hey, try to avoid spiders and try to avoid high places. So it in some ways, the phobia removes any responsibility for having those feelings, having those thoughts, having those aversions. It removes any responsibility on the part of that said person. So when we say the word Islamophobia, what we're saying is that these people, it's due to no fault of their own, and that they're just simply being triggered by external events or external phenomena, and therefore they cannot be held accountable, right, for the views that they hold. This is why Muslims in particular need to stop bandying and using this word Islamophobia. There is no Islamophobia. There is no irresponsible external trigger, right? Forget all this crap about terrorism and all that. Look, this country has not only been founded upon the terrorism of whole entire other civilizations of people, right? The Native American, so-called indigenous peoples, their civilization has been obliterated in the name of the founding of this country. So, and let alone what this country has done to black folks in this country, slavery, you name it. So when I hear this kind of rhetoric, no, it's white supremacy. And Muslims need to get comfortable with saying the word white supremacy. They need to get comfortable labeling this issue as an issue of white supremacy. What Steve is saying, I mean, he's on Twitter agreeing with Geert Wilders, right, who is a white supremacist, right? This is not some sort of rational reaction to external phenomena. This is nothing other than a white supremacist worldview, of which whites and those who aspire to benefit and perhaps even become honorary whites. This is why you'll find some black folks like, what's the sheriff from Milwaukee, I forget his name. He's a white supremacist in black skin. What's his name? D'Souza, the guy from Southeast, he's from, I think, a South Asian background. Dinesh D'Souza, right? White supremacist. So Muslims need to get more aggressive in the labeling and pushing back on the use of this term, particularly in the media. And we need to call it what it is so that we can address the issue for what it is. I just, I see, this isn't a rant against activists, but when I hear a number of activists that continue to use this word Islamophobia, the only time we should be using the word Islamophobia is pushing back to change the definition of Islamophobia to what it really is, which is white supremacy. And I know a number of people feel that white supremacy is not the greatest challenge facing Muslims today, partly because some people's understanding of white supremacy is like the KKK, right? Or just a few silly people living in the backwoods of Alabama that don't really have any impact. No, white supremacy as a value system, and this is particularly and exactly what this person from the House of Representatives, Steve King, is talking about. He is, in some ways, masterfully articulating exactly what white supremacy asserts itself to be, which is a civilization. And a civilization in which what whites like and what they dislike not only gain a priority for whites, but in order for non-whites to have any place within that system, they must adopt that value system, which impugns themselves almost on a genetic level, right? So it becomes this almost genetic level of Duboisian double consciousness. So that's just my thoughts. I want to finish this really delicious turkey sandwich and play some more Gears of War. But please, for the love of God and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stop using this term, Islamophobia. These people bear the full responsibility of the views that they espouse. And they are not being triggered by external events, but it is nothing other than their desire for domination and to have whites and the value system of whites at the top and everybody else as nothing other than a natural reflection of the order of things at the bottom. Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakumullahu khairan. Think about it. Assalamu alaikum.